you, Councilman Bedney. Mr. Pinkston.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to the Council for the opportunity to come together. This is actually the first time we've had, as a board, the opportunity to hear from the auditors directly after the delivery of the audit. So I just wanted to go back and ask the auditors to speak a little bit more to the cost impact of charter schools. We talked a minute ago about the administrative costs, which are actually the smaller costs, but the audit does on page 3-16 reference the issue of fixed costs, such as building maintenance, computer network infrastructure, health services, which do not vary according to the audit in traditional schools based on enrollment. The audit calls out specifically that it is not possible to reduce teacher costs proportionate to losses in revenue, and for these costs to be reduced significantly, the school, meaning the traditional school, would need to close altogether. So as you all know, the elephant in the room in this conversation is the structural, operational, and fiscal challenges that we have with absorbing new schools. And if I read the audit correctly, what it's really saying is we cannot continue unabated growth of charter schools without closing traditional schools relative to the budget. And could you guys speak to this fixed cost issue and what this means? Yeah,
I think as you lose more students to charter schools, basically your base is going down, and so eventually, as that happens more aggressively, it's not just the Nashville community. That's all communities, particularly large urban school districts such as MNPS, that have a large number of charter schools. I mean, it drains resources from your school system, and I think that's what you're asking, and you're absolutely correct. That is what the report states, because your fixed cost is very, very difficult for you to control your fixed costs, because for every school that you've got, and it's kind of what I talked about with the underutilized buildings, if you're running a building that's with low utilization, you still have to heat the building. All of the operational cost of keeping that building open remain the same, and so that's kind of where we're going with the discussion on that.
Okay, Will, it's a fairly rudimentary exercise, to be frank with you. Okay, revenue follows the student to the charter schools. Fixed costs do not follow the student proportionately, so therefore, the more revenue loss you get, the fixed cost base stays the same. There's erosion, so it's a pretty simple model. Okay, so you're exactly right, and that's what we tried to point out in the report.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Pinkston. Since there are no more questions at this time, we're going to transition to. We have one question. Okay, very quickly.
This will be a very quick question. I know we're getting ready to hear from the administration. There's some things that have been rejected on the cost